Hello and welcome to this vision board tutorial. I am so excited to be bringing this to you today. This is going to be a mix of a bit of me talking about vision boards and why I love them and some of the things I've manifested with vision boards, but also I am about to start making my vision board right now. So you are going to have a chance to follow along with me if you haven't made your vision board yet for the year, and you'll be able to see exactly how I'm doing it step by step and to modify this, tweak this, make it your own, but you have something to follow along with, and I am so excited to get into it today. Okay, so if you are going to be following along with me and making your vision board as I'm doing it, or honestly, even if you're not, even if you're just going to watch this and then figure out later how you're going to do your own vision board, I want to give you a couple of tips just right off the bat before we get started. So first of all, I want your vision board experience to be a moment. This is something really fun. This is an activity. This can be even like a solo date type of vibe. So before I sat down to make my vision board, I took a nice long shower. I freshly washed my hair. I exfoliated. I did a hair mask. I am wearing super comfy clothes. I literally have like sweatpants on right now. I've got a cup of tea right here. I did some extra breath work and meditation and just like got myself in a really nice mood. I ate a super nourishing meal, and now I am like completely relaxed and set up and just ready to have an incredible vision board session. And Amanda Frances says that the energy with which you do a thing influences the outcome of that thing. And I think that's really true, you know? We don't want to rush through the process of making a vision board. We don't want to treat it like another chore on our to-do list or something that, you know, like no one's making you make a vision board, right? Like let this be fun. Let this be exciting. Let it be cozy, almost like you're having a little slumber party with yourself. So if you need to pause this video and go ahead and shower and make a cup of tea and do something cozy, then I won't get offended. Go ahead and do so. And if you're going to be just following right along with me, then let's get into a couple of other things that are going to make your vision board very successful. So before you sit down to create, I want you to have a very clear sense of direction for what you are going to be putting on this board. So whether it's going to be a vision board for your next 12 months, I've made vision boards for like the summer, the fall. I sometimes at the solstice will make a vision board for like 6 months. I have made vision boards that were more like mood boards, like this is, you know, I'm about to go on a vacation and this is the kind of vibe I want for the lodging situation, and these are the kinds of like foods I want to have. And like I've made vision boards for all different areas and segments of my life, and so it doesn't have to be standard in terms of like this is a vision board for like the year of 2025 if you're watching this close to when it comes out. But you need to have a sense of like, what is this about? Why does this matter to me? Why am I doing this? Is this, you know, gonna be a vision board related to my career, related to, you know, my wardrobe and my style? Is this gonna be a whole life vision board? What am I gonna manifest using this board? Or what am I going to, what am I going to use this board to manifest? What am I going to manifest using this board? But like have an understanding and set an intention, like this is what this board is for. Because it's so easy to go on Pinterest and just get distracted and see all the pretty things. And then all of a sudden you're making a cute board full of stuff, but like it's not really connected to you. It's not going to actually help you manifest the changes that you want to see in your life. So what am I using this board to manifest? And then I briefly talked about time, but I also just want to use this opportunity to make a point here. We can have a sense of how long things will take to manifest, or we can have a sense of like, this is my vision board for the next year, or this is my vision board for the next 6 months, or whatever. But things are going to take the time they take. And there's nothing wrong with having something on a vision board for multiple years. I actually have had some things on my vision board for multiple years, and there are some things that manifested way faster than I expected to, and there were some things that manifested way easier than I expected them to, and other things that have been taking more time. And again, there's literally nothing wrong with this. This doesn't mean you're a bad manifester. This doesn't mean your vision board isn't working. It literally just means that your life, from where it is now to the vision board life that you have, your life is going to have to rearrange. There's going to have to be transitions between this moment and the moment where your vision board is fully completed. And that transition is in some ways unpredictable, right? We have to trust the universe. We have to trust God. We have to let God do its thing. And sometimes that means allowing things to take a little bit longer, but not giving up on them. I don't want this exercise to be an opportunity where you put pressure on yourself and where you start to tell yourself, if all of this doesn't happen in a year, then there's something wrong with me, or if all of this doesn't happen in the next 6 months, then I'm giving up on it. Just roll your stuff over from one year to the next. If it doesn't manifest, it's completely fine. I actually am going to quote something I learned from Catherine Zankini here, which is, she basically just said, the only time you would remove something from your vision board is if it wasn't aligned anymore. Like if you learned something about yourself, if you had a breakthrough and you were like, oh, actually, I don't want this thing doesn't really matter to me, or this experience I'm manifesting, it really wouldn't light me up in the ways that I thought it would. And then you can take it off your vision board. But it's not about like, I'm giving up and I'm quitting because something is taking too long, so I'm just going to remove it from my vision board, right? And that's definitely something that my past self needed to hear. So if that is supportive for you, definitely let me know. And I just could not, proceed without saying that. So with those couple things out of the way, I actually want you to make a very detailed list of your goals. And that is going to guide the images that you put on the board. So I have done this already. I am making a full life vision board, so I have goals related to a bunch of key areas. And I actually have this notebook here, and I'll read out what the areas are that I am manifesting in case that can be helpful for you. So I have professional goals, and I have like 5 of those. I have health and fitness goals. I have 3 of those. I have financial goals. I have 3 of those. I have goals around relationships, and I have 4 of those. And then I have goals for my own learning and personal growth journey, and I actually have 6 of those. And so those are just a couple areas of my life. I like to keep things organized and just get a better sense of like, is this board going to be balanced? Again, each one has like 3 to 6 different goals. That feels very balanced for me. And is this board really encompassing the life I see for myself? And again, is it giving me a sense of direction? So it's not like this is my 2025 to-do list, and if I don't do all these things by the end of 2025, then there's something wrong with me. But this is going to be my North Star until all of it is complete, or until parts of it don't feel aligned. Like, I'm totally open to the idea that some of the things I have on this board that I'm about to make will not feel authentic in a year, because I'm going to change, I'm going to evolve, I'm going to grow. And so maybe it's like, oh, I'm trying to manifest something with this board, and after a year of moving towards it, I'm like, actually, this isn't what I thought it was, or this isn't what I really want, and that's okay. I'm going to make another board at the end of the year, right? But I do have this board as a sense of direction for how I am going to be living my life over the upcoming 12 months. And that's another thing that I want to say too here before we get into the creation process. But when you make a vision board, it's not just something that it's not just like a craft, right? It's not just like an art project. It is a North Star for your life. And so you want to make sure that you are tying the images on this board to action steps and to decisions that you're making. Like when you have the opportunity. So for me, one of my financial goals has to do with paying down a debt. And for me, the way that I'm going to action on this is when I have the opportunity to spend money, I am going to make sure, like, okay, this is money that I could spend on X, Y, and Z, or this is money that I could put into my debt. And I'm going to have to actually sit with that and look at that and be like, okay, do I want this thing And is it important for me to have this thing right now? Or is this money better utilized in paying off my debt? And sometimes the answer will be, I'm going to get the thing. And sometimes the answer will be, I'm going to pass on the thing and use that money for debt. But the principle here is, I'm using this board to guide me in making my decisions, even with my health and fitness goals. One of the things that I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm adjusting my workout routine to align with my goals. I'm not just going to say, okay, I am manifesting, and actually this is a good example because I'm manifesting having my middle splits flat to the floor. And if you have been following me, you know that that is something that I was working on last year as well. It did not happen last year, but I'm still moving towards it. And I'm not just going to put a person doing a middle split on a vision board and then not like stretch every day, because that would be kind of ridiculous. It's like, how could I expect myself to manifest this and to really achieve this and to not actually put effort into it? And so I have different ways that all of my goals are aligned to my action steps and to my habits. And with all of that said, I do want to talk a little bit about surrender and leaving things up to God and allowing God to fill in the gaps for you. So with every goal that's on your vision board, there are going to be aspects of it that feel actionable to you. And there will be aspects of it that you don't actually know how to, take action on, right? So for example, if you have a goal of, I want to have 10 clients, there's stuff that you know to do to get 10 clients, right? You understand your marketing strategy, you understand how to articulate the value of your work, you probably have connections and a network and like potential clients that you are in relationships with and stuff. So it's not like there's nothing you can do and you're just gonna like lay in bed all day manifesting these 10 clients. But there are going to be aspects of this that are out of your control, as with everything. Even with the middle splits example, yes, I am committed to stretching every day, but there are aspects of this journey that are out of my control. For example, I did have a minor injury on my knee, and that changed the way that I had to work out and changed the way that I had to stretch until my injury was healed. Now, did I learn from that? Of course. Did I implement changes that are going to prevent injury in the future? Of course. But I was proceeding to the best of my ability on my way to this goal, and there was a small injury. That's not something I'm going to beat myself up for. But part of the manifestation and what the manifestation looks like is, okay, God, I see that you're using this to teach me a lesson. You're using this to teach me how to be more safe and how to take better care of myself while I am pursuing what is objectively like a pretty difficult thing. And so you're teaching me how to take better care of my body. You're teaching me how to listen to my body, and I appreciate that. And with all of this new information, I'm going to go forward, right? But there's always going to be those moments where it feels like things are either slowing down or they're not going how you expected, or basically you have to come to terms with the fact that it's not just, cookie cutter, check off these boxes and take these action steps, and then all of a sudden you have your goal, right? There are nuances. That's the word I want to use. There are nuances to this process, right? And so the reason I'm saying all of this is because you get to trust God with the nuances. You get to come back to faith when it looks like it's not going to work out. You get to really pray and ask for guidance when there are areas that are out of your control, right? Like you can do all the marketing, but at the end of the day, other people still have to decide to hire you. And that's when you have to trust. You have to trust that God is working all things together. You have to trust that there are people for whom it is a real win and a value for their life to sign up and work with you. If you are a business owner and you are manifesting clients, like you have to really have faith that even the things that are outside of your control are going to work out for you or are going to teach you lessons and move you forward on your path. And that's really a big piece of manifestation. And so this isn't going to be a whole training on manifestation. I literally have like multi-month courses on manifestation. So I can't even pretend that I'm going to teach the whole thing here. But a vision board works best when you are balancing taking action, and when each goal feels somewhat actionable to you. And so that's another thing. If you have a goal that does not feel actionable, where you're like, I have no idea where I would even remotely start with this, then that's a sign that either you need to change the goal so that it does feel actionable, or you need to do some research and educate yourself so that you can get a sense of like, what are the steps you need to take to bring this to life. But each goal needs to feel actionable. You need to feel like you have action steps that you can take to move yourself forward. And you also need to start building up your faith and knowing that like the parts of this that are nuanced and the parts of this that are out of your control are still going to ultimately work out for you, and you will ultimately make it to your goal. With all of that being said, let's get started on Pinterest. Now, I'm going to be doing this on my phone. And you are welcome to do this on your phone, on your computer, whatever works for you. So I'm going to type in one of my goals and just show you how I would translate this into images. So we already talked about middle splits. I like to put in middle splits. I like to put the word aesthetic because that makes sure that we get pictures. And then I also, and this is actually another point that I was going to make later, but you want to make sure that if you're going to use images, they're images that resonate with you. You obviously do not have a picture of yourself living out your vision board, but you need to feel somewhat of a connection to these pictures. And so you can do this a couple ways. You can do this by using POV pictures. So if you're manifesting an apartment, you wouldn't get a picture of someone else standing in an apartment. You would get a point of view picture. So a picture as if you were behind the camera taking a picture of an empty apartment, or you're standing in the door and you can see the apartment, right? So a POV picture, or pictures of people who look like you. So I always like to put Black people on my vision board, even better if they're Black people with natural hair, because that makes me feel connected to the people on the vision board, and it helps me see myself in the vision board. And I'm not going to go into like, you know, the doll study and all the things about like why it is important for people to see themselves in the places where they desire to go and why representation matters and all of that. But I will say that there is something scientifically proven about the fact that when you see people that look like you doing things that you want to do, it helps you believe that you can do it. So I have middle splits aesthetic, Black woman, and let's just see what comes up. I've never actually put this into Pinterest before. Okay, it was too many words. I feel like it's just way too many words. That's a front split. But we don't see middle split. Okay, let's take out aesthetic and see what happens. Perfect, right here. This is exactly what I want. Let's scroll and see if there's anything else. We've got this one. This one's also nice. Okay, perfect. So first we didn't get anything. I think that's because we had too many search terms and it just got confused. But this looks really good to me. So I'm going to save this to my phone. I'm just going to put allow full access because... Okay, so I've got that one saved. I'm also going to save this one. And the reason I'm saving a couple is because once I'm making my vision board itself, I might actually decide, okay, this picture goes better aesthetically with the board, or maybe I'll prefer the brighter neon ones. But let's save this image. Why don't I see download image? Okay, great. So we've got some images that we're just downloading onto the phone. Now I'm seeing a bunch of other things. Okay, so that's basically what I'm going to be doing for all of my goals. And given, the differences of how many goals you might have, or how obscure they might be, like for this one, for example, there was like not that many options, so I had to get a little bit more granular with my search terms. You are going to need to work at your own pace with this one. So I'm going to do mine, you do yours, and we'll meet back in a second on Canva. All right, I have officially got all my images and I'm ready to move on to Canva. All right, so welcome to Canva. If you have never been on Canva before, it is a completely free graphic design website. And the first thing that we need to do on here is create a blank design. So I am going to do a poster, and the reason for that is because I'm actually going to download this as a PDF and have it printed out so that I can hang it on my wall. But you can really use any kind of design that speaks to you. So I've chosen my poster, I've got my desired size up, and then the next step is actually to import all of the images that are on my phone that I downloaded from Pinterest and add them to this page. So this process could look however it looks depending on whether you went through Pinterest on your phone or on your computer, but basically you need to download everything from Pinterest onto your device, which I hope you did as you went along, and then upload everything from your device onto your Canva page that you're working with, and just let that kind of happen. I ended up with over 40 images, and the final board did not end up having all of these images on it, but I liked to give myself quite a few options, so you'll see all of that here. And now I'm just kind of arranging them, really just moving them so that I can see them all, and starting to create some type of organizational structure. So the first thing I'm really doing here is just grouping all the related images together. You'll see all the fitness images are going in that corner up there, and I'll also create like a professional section for this YouTube one. So here you'll just see me taking a screenshot of my YouTube profile picture because I'm going to use that later for a step that I will briefly show you in a second. But I needed my YouTube profile picture, and so I've got that now, adding that to the board. And you might have other things as you're going through the process of creating your board that pop up and you're like, oh, that would be a really good idea to add, so you'll just add those as you go along. But I've got my YouTube profile picture here, and again, you'll see the fullness of this later, but you can see I'm just really moving everything around, adding stuff to the board. And what I'm going to do right now is actually personalize this screenshot that I took from YouTube. So I took a screenshot of one of my favorite YouTubers' page, and this YouTuber specifically has over 1 million subscribers, and I want to manifest over 1 million subscribers. And so I've replaced her profile picture with my profile picture, and now what I'm doing is replacing her name with my name, doing my best to match the colors of things, and I'm getting a little black box so that I can add that to the background of the text. And if you are not a graphic design person, and if this level of personalization is like daunting to you, you definitely do not have to do this. This is just something I felt inspired to do, and it felt easy for me because I am in Canva every single day for my business, and I'm very comfortable with graphic design. But basically, you'll just see me walk through the process of replacing her handle with my handle, kind of doing the exact same thing, doing my best to match the colors. And if you want to learn more about how to do any of this, there are so many Canva tutorials online, and you can also always leave me questions in the comments and I can do my best to explain to you exactly what I'm doing. But I really just wanted to show you all an example of another way that you can personalize your board. So using people that look like you is important, using POV images when you can't get a person that looks like you in the image, but also just straight up taking pictures of yourself and taking your own information and customizing different things so that they literally say your name and have your picture on them is a really, really good vision board hack. So make sure that you do that in some way, shape, or form, whether it is graphic design or not. And this is just me finalizing, making sure that I like the spacing of everything. I am gonna, just get it perfect, get it how I want it. I'm grouping everything so that when I move this image, it all moves together and it's not like I have all these different layers. And that is how I'm personalizing this. And then I'm gonna personalize a couple other things, but I'm not gonna explain everything here because I think that would get super boring. I thought that the one with Tam was pretty interesting and had a lot of detail, but these other ones, I'm putting my name on the YouTube plaques and that's not as interesting. So we'll just kind of fast forward through this. So while this is playing out, I also wanted to point out that I don't just have pictures on here, I also have quotes and affirmations that kind of go along with some of my goals. So some things are not obviously easy to visualize, and for those things I've got quotes. So you'll see, and obviously this is moving very fast, but one of the quotes that I have is access to my energy is a privilege. And that has to do with the goal that I have this year to really focus on cultivating a good relationship with myself, taking myself on more solo dates, just generally pouring into myself and remembering that if I'm going to share my energy with someone else and ultimately manifest a partner at some point in the future, I want to feel really, really good about my relationship with myself. So I just have that quote there to remind me that this is important. Same with, you'll see I have the covers of different books on here, and that's really just to remind myself to read those books because I know that I want to read more in the upcoming year, and that's part of my goals that I have for my learning and personal growth. And I've already identified 2 books that I am going to be focusing on reading, and not just reading, but really thoroughly combing through and doing any homework that's in the books and just implementing those books. So I've got covers of books here as well, and then I've written 2 of my own affirmations here because they're things that are so personal to me. So for example, we have, I'm grateful that my membership makes $5,000 per month. I did not expect to find that on Pinterest. I just went into Canva, created a text box, and wrote that out myself because I knew that my business, is not going to have personalized affirmations on Pinterest. And then once I was done on Canva, I just downloaded this as a PDF. So this is the completed board. And what I did from there was I ordered a print of this PDF from my local CVS, and that arrived a couple days later, and I was able to hang it on my wall. Hello, it is officially a couple days later. My vision board has come in, and I just wanted to show you because it is right behind me on the wall of my home office. Creating this vision board tutorial was so much fun. I hope that you were able to follow along, get some good vision board hacks, and I am genuinely wishing you all the best on your manifestations this year. If you want more advice on how to manifest all of your goals and desires, make sure that you're subscribed and that you follow along. I post tons of content on manifestation and ultimately on just getting into alignment and glowing up and becoming the best version of you. Love you so much, and I'll see you again very soon in another video.
Take care.